Hey there VCE HHD students, my name's Andy, I'm a VCE Health and Human Development teacher. In this short video, we're going to look at answering the 2021 VCE HHD Exam question number 7. Before we dive into question number 7, just a reminder over at the Health Resources Hub YouTube channel, a new video like this one is coming out each day between now and the HHD exam this year. You can subscribe with the button in the bottom corner of the video there. Please let your HHD friends know they can do so too to access all of those videos. You can see there our social media links if you'd like to follow us and get alerts to new videos coming out each day, and also our email. You can see here question 7 from the 2021 exam was worth 5 marks, and it started by mentioning that the leading causes of burden of disease in Australia in 2015 were cancer and cardiovascular disease. So for A, for 2 marks, you're asked to describe burden of disease as a measurement of health status. So just a reminder that all of those terms in the study design, such as the indicators of health status, like burden of disease, I would make sure you know a description that could be given in the exam for a couple of marks. And so here you could see that most students were able to achieve at least 1 or 2 marks for this particular question. And so the example of the high scoring response mentioned that burden of disease is a measure of the gap between the current health status and ideal situation where everyone lives to an old age free of disease and disability. Then it's measured in a unit called DALY, which is made up of YLLs and YLDs. Okay, so something along those lines would have gotten you the 2 marks for that particular question. So then B, for 3 marks, was asking you to select either cancer or cardiovascular disease by ticking one of those boxes, and then identify and describe one factor that contributes to the burden of disease for that selected condition. So it gave you a lot of free range here in terms of the factors you could have chosen. So for example, if you chose cancer, okay, the factor you could have chosen might have been smoking, okay, or it could have been things such as diet, okay, if you were choosing cardiovascular disease. And so then in your description, you had to link that to burden of disease. So you had to show a connection between your factor and the particular conditions. And for 3 marks, I would have been trying to mention at least 2 out of YLL, YLD, DALY, and burden of disease. So you can see there that approximately 37% of the state was able to achieve 2 marks, but only 18% 3. They gave you some examples of different factors that could have been given, okay, as the basis of this response. So then over on the next slide here, I've shown you a couple of high scoring responses, one for each of cardiovascular disease and cancer. So for example, the factor for cardiovascular disease was a high intake of salt. So they talked about how excess salt can draw fluid out of cells and contribute to greater blood volume. Greater blood volume means there's more strain on the heart. It's required to pump a greater amount of blood around the body, and that increases the risk of hypertension, which is an example of cardiovascular disease, and can contribute to more years of life spent living in ill health or YLD, and therefore increased burden of disease. Then for cancer, they chose smoking and talked about how it can cause faults in the cells they divide, which can lead to diseases such as lung cancer, and therefore that can contribute to higher rates of years of life lost due to premature death due to cancer, would have been good to include, and years lived with disability or YLDs associated with lung cancer. So you can see there linking into YLLs and YLDs, and then linking into things like burden of disease, okay, was important to achieve a high scoring response for that question. Okay, hopefully you found that useful. Just a reminder, the Health Resources Hub YouTube channel, our social media links, and our email. Thanks so much.